What if your father's ghost told you that your uncle murdered him and your mother married the killer? That is the nightmare at the heart of Hamlet, Shakespeare's most famous tragedy. A story of grief, revenge, corruption, and a brilliant mind pushed to the edge. The kingdom of Denmark is already uneasy. King Hamlet is dead. His brother Claudius has taken the throne. Worse still, he has married Queen Gertrude with shocking speed, turning mourning into celebration almost overnight. Prince Hamlet is devastated. He feels disgust, betrayal, and sorrow all at once, as if something rotten has taken root beneath the surface of the royal court. Then, on the dark walls of Elsinore Castle, a ghost appears, one that looks exactly like Hamlet's dead father. And with that, private grief becomes a terrifying mystery. When Hamlet finally confronts the ghost, the spirit delivers a revelation that changes everything. His father was not taken by natural causes. He was murdered. According to the ghost, Claudius poured poison into his ear while he slept, then stole both his crown and his queen. The command is simple and horrifying. Avenge me. In that moment, Hamlet is given a purpose, but not peace. He burns with outrage, yet he cannot fully trust what he has seen. Is this truly his father's spirit, or some demonic force tempting him toward damnation? Shakespeare turns revenge into a psychological burden. Hamlet is not a hero who rushes into action. He is a thinker, and thought becomes both his strength and his prison. He swears to remember the ghost's words, but already doubt has begun to creep in. Rather than strike immediately, Hamlet chooses a different strategy. He will pretend to be mad while he searches for proof. His behavior becomes erratic, sharp, mocking, and unpredictable. The court begins to whisper. No one knows what to make of him. Polonius, the king's long-winded advisor, quickly concludes that Hamlet has lost his reason because he is heartsick over Polonius's daughter, Ophelia. But Hamlet's strange performance serves a deeper purpose. It unsettles everyone around him and gives him room to observe the court without revealing his true intentions. Yet the longer this act continues, the harder it becomes to separate disguise from reality. Hamlet is performing madness, but he is also living inside grief, disgust, and suspicion. Claudius, meanwhile, senses danger. He begins to understand that Hamlet's mind, whether broken or brilliant, may be aimed directly at him. To test the ghost's story, Hamlet turns to one of Shakespeare's most brilliant ideas: theater itself. A group of actors arrives at court, and Hamlet asks them to perform a scene that mirrors the murder described by the ghost, a king poisoned in secret by a close relative. Hamlet's goal is simple. Watch Claudius. If the king is guilty, his conscience will betray him. The performance begins, and tension fills the room. Hamlet studies Claudius closely, waiting for the truth to reveal itself. Then it happens. Claudius rises in alarm, stops the play, and storms out. For Hamlet, this is the confirmation he needed. The ghost spoke the truth. His father was murdered, and Claudius is the murderer. This is the turning point where suspicion hardens into certainty. But even now, with guilt exposed, Hamlet does not become a straightforward man of action. He knows the truth, and still cannot move cleanly toward justice. Soon after, Hamlet finds Claudius alone and apparently at prayer. It is the perfect opportunity to kill him. The revenge he has been contemplating stands right in front of him. But Hamlet stops himself. He reasons that if he kills Claudius while he is praying, then Claudius might die cleansed and be rewarded in the afterlife. Hamlet wants more than death. He wants moral balance. He wants revenge that feels complete. So he waits. It is one of the most famous delays in literature, and one of the most disastrous. Moments later, Hamlet confronts his mother in a furious and bitter scene, accusing her of betrayal and moral blindness. Hearing a noise behind a curtain, he assumes Claudius is hiding there and strikes with sudden violence. But he has killed the wrong man. The victim is Polonius. In one instant, Hamlet passes from avenger to accidental killer. He hesitated when precision mattered, and acted rashly when certainty was absent. The death of Polonius sends shockwaves through the play. For Ophelia, it is devastating. Already wounded by Hamlet's strange cruelty, distance, and rejection, she can no longer bear the pressure around her. Her sorrow spills into songs, fragments, and broken speech as she descends into madness before the court. Soon after, she dies in one of Shakespeare's most haunting scenes, her death described as a drowning, beautiful and tragic, but shadowed by ambiguity. Did she fall accidentally or surrender to despair? At the same time, her brother Laertes returns, furious and grieving. He wants justice for his father and sister, and Claudius quickly sees how useful that rage can be. With Hamlet now sent away and suspicion rising, Claudius begins to shape Laertes into a weapon. The revenge story that began with one ghost now expands into a chain reaction. In Denmark, grief is no longer private. It spreads from person to person, poisoning every relationship it touches. Hamlet eventually returns, changed, but not entirely transformed. He has seen enough death and danger to know that he cannot control everything. Yet the machinery of tragedy is already in motion. Claudius and Laertes prepare a trap disguised as a sporting event. A fencing duel. Laertes will use a sharpened blade tipped with poison, ensuring that even a small wound will be fatal. And as a backup, Claudius prepares a poisoned cup of wine. What should appear noble and ceremonial is, in reality, carefully staged murder. Shakespeare tightens the tension by making the audience aware of the plot before the violence begins. Every gesture in the duel becomes charged with dread. Hamlet enters the contest without fully grasping how deadly it will be, and the court gathers to watch what seems like entertainment. But in Hamlet, appearance and reality are never safely separated. Beneath polished ritual waits catastrophe. The duel begins, and the disaster unfolds with brutal speed. Hamlet scores early touches, and Claudius offers him the poisoned cup, but Hamlet refuses it. Then Queen Gertrude, unaware of the trap, drinks from the cup herself. As the match intensifies, Laertes wounds Hamlet with the poisoned blade. In the struggle, the swords are exchanged, and Hamlet wounds Laertes in return. Now both men are dying. With death closing in, Laertes finally confesses the truth. Claudius is responsible, the blade is poisoned, and the queen has been fatally poisoned as well. At last, Hamlet acts with clarity and force. He stabs Claudius and compels him to drink the poison prepared for another. The revenge that seemed impossible for so long is finally achieved, but only after nearly everyone has been destroyed. Justice comes, but too late to save the innocent, too late to restore the kingdom, and too late to save Hamlet himself. As the court collapses around him, Hamlet knows he is dying. Gertrude is dead. Laertes is dead. Claudius is dead. The royal house of Denmark has consumed itself from within. In his final moments, Hamlet turns not toward victory, but toward memory. He asks Horatio, his loyal friend, to tell his story honestly, so that what happened will not be buried beneath rumor and silence. Then, Hamlet dies. Soon afterward, Fortinbras of Norway arrives to claim the shattered kingdom, a reminder that while Hamlet struggled inwardly, history itself kept moving. That is part of what gives this tragedy its enduring power. Hamlet is not only about revenge. It is about grief that cannot heal, corruption that spreads through a nation, and the terrible cost of seeing too much and acting too late. Shakespeare gives us a hero of extraordinary intelligence and feeling, but also a warning. Thought without action can be ruinous, and revenge rarely stops where it begins.